long. By the way, these are actually the true documents. And as a matter of fact, you'll notice this is taken in blue pen. And I think if you would check it out, the alterations, the re-alterations, see, on the day of the accident, he does it in red, and then he makes some changes in blue pen, okay, before he makes the fabrication for that date in pencil. But I think we would probably find that the blue pen made for using these little corrections here is probably the same blue pen as was used to make this fabrication. So what he does is he takes originals that shows basically he hasn't even bothered examining her neck during the two previous examinations. Here's 7/28. This is 5 months after the accident, no examination of the neck. 3 months after the accident, no examination of the neck, because he's still treating her for scoliosis. Okay. When I have him look at these three, I have him, relate what these are in cross-examining him, and then I ask if he has the originals with him, which are these three right here, and he says, yes, I do. And I said, would you mind if I put those into the record? And he says, no, go ahead. So I take them over to the clerk, they get numbered, they're entered in the record, and I ask the judge, I says, I'm going to ask the court to impound these records, not to be returned to either party, but held for the Attorney General's office for investigation of fraud on the court. Rather bold move. Hadn't brought this out yet. Okay. Another set of documents in the trash, which, these had been subpoenaed, but they decided it was better to throw them away rather than maybe confuse the court, was a set of self-evaluation documents, which he has patients do periodically, in which he, to the question, has there been a reoccurrence of any of the symptoms for which you were originally being treated, she says yes. And the second question is there any difference between the pain then and the pain now? And she says no. In other words, she's complaining to this doctor. She's saying, and by the way, she'd been treated by this doctor for scoliosis for a long time now. And guess what? No relief. Now the little note dated 7/18/89. This is subsequent to them suing me, which is over a year after the accident, which says on it, the records need to be prepared. The Nicholson records need to be prepared by the 25th, as she's referring to for subpoena discovery. So we know that all these alterations and fabrications and attempted destructions take place between the 18th and probably right at about the 25th, because as the notes on my records indicate, my man Krim recovered them from the trash on the 26th. My attorney at this time quits. What happened is he's just sandbagging me. He doesn't order the x-rays as I specified. He doesn't order records previous and subsequent to the accident. He just goes all medical records, and misrepresents that x-rays will be provided. X-rays are only provided if you set it up with Knox Attorney Service or one of these people to go over and take them in hand, make a copy, and return it to the various parties.
and he also fails to subpoena Bonnie Sue and her husband in for deposition, and then he lets them go twice. And finally he just says, John, if you want it your way, I'm just going to quit. And I went, I'll be right down, so he quits. But anyway, he quits, and right after I hold a deposition, which I pretty much screw up. I should have held the evidence. I was still trying to, give her a chance to back out, show her a little bit of what I had, and she didn't go for it. And so anyhow, I do discovery again, and we get X-rays, and we go down and we pick up these X-rays. He doesn't want to give it to us. We never provide X-rays. Well, I can understand that, but we got them.
We have a frontal X-ray, and this is of Nicholson Sue, 5/19/88, which means this is 3 months after the accident, at which time the doctor claims he's only treating her for the whiplash I've caused. Okay? And what it shows is scoliosis. Now this is Exhibit 143 at trial. I have other, the notes I made on it are very obvious. No neck X-rays. In other words, at the time he takes this X-ray, several months after the accident, he's not even taking a neck X-ray because he's still treating her for scoliosis. What's going to happen here is, because I'm not even allowed to bring this X-ray over, I can see for one thing, he's totally prejudiced by having me object to this, in that this wasn't an objection brought by the opposing counsel. The jury has just, if you could see the look on the fucking jury, unbelievable. I mean, I was buried right then. They didn't listen to another thing I said just because of this argument. Now, if there was a reason I shouldn't have brought it across, like if I was violating some procedure or something, I should have been informed of it. I should have had something to argue against. But no, he just, he had to prevent this from coming in, because this showed that this chiropractor who furnishes this kind of fraud for probably hundreds, assists in feeding hundreds of his associates, his public fucking kind, upon the public and their insurance companies, he's got to save his ass. That's how the game is played, and that's the collusion and conspiracy that the public is up against, and that's why you pay the insurance rates you do. Here we have the side view of the same date. It was 5/19/88 of Bonnie Sue Nicholson. This is the side view, apparently from her right side, looking toward her left side. And remember, the chiropractor testified that she did not suffer from, and he was not treating her for any conditions other than the whiplash I had caused, and prior to this time, and prior to the accident, he had only been treating her for a lower back strain sprain, that there was no medical term that he knew of or she knew of for any other condition. Well, to demonstrate is, now I X-ray right here, which I wanted to demonstrate, which was of the same date as the other one I had shown, shows that now you see these arrows I have here. Those are put on by me, and it says JB, 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 JB on each of these arrows, and then I have a little arrow here with JB, and that's because the X mark is out here, and then there is another X mark right there, and then there is another X mark right there, and another X mark right there, and another X mark right there, and I think there's one up here too somewhere. That might have been it. This mark here, I accidentally put the pen on. I put on JB. In other words, these are X marks, and as we know from the chiropractor's testimony from his examination reports, X marks are where pain is demonstrated. And these happen to be where he sees something on this X-ray, and he's marking it as being, and what these are places where the nerve bundles come out of the backbone, and what we have